We are live. We are a little early today, but there's so much stuff to just get into and talk about. I hope everybody is doing well. I wanted to get into, of course, some XRP news. We're going to talk about the rest of the market. We're also going to get into some base projects that I've been buying recently, and I'll explain why I've been buying specifically base projects. Ethereum's been making some big moves, and I think that is really where we're going to see a lot of X's and O's here over the next few months. So let's see what's going on here. We got AK Scarface here, the first person here saying aloha, my friends. Paul Gaines is in here. Yo, what's good from the SF Bay Area? Paul, I'm from the Bay Area too, man. Grew up in San Mateo, lived in like Hillsboro and Cupertino, San Jose, man, Sunnyvale, all up and down, man. I hope you're doing well. Great to see you here. What's up, Ben McGar? How's it going, my friend? Monty Brown, what do you think about the impact Circle will have on an XRP with the announcement of ARC for global payments? All right, we can talk about that here too, man. We got Rochelle here. We got Chipper here. Great to see you, Chipper. Big Shrimp. That's such a fun name. Mobile Detailing. What's up, man? Nice to see you. Ariana's here to keep the chat safe. Great to see you, Val. Two Big Paws. Great to see you. A lot of the people from, just show up every chat, man. It's so great to see all of you. What's up, Thomas Svetter? Nice to see you. Mike Rutledge is here. King Sal is here. Clayton Fox. Silver Fox is here. What's up, Clayton? LEX is here. We got Jod here from South Carolina. Richard, great to see you, Richard. Always a pleasure. Man, Richard's on it, man. Richard be sending me so much information. Like, I wake up every day and I got like 10 messages from Richard. But great to have you, Richard. Always a pleasure, man. Brian, what's up, dude? Just Maui. Aloha, my friend. What's up, my brother? Danny, what's up, Danny? Bryce, what's up from Santa Rosa, North Bay, in the house? What's up, Bryce? Dude, Root says, dude, you've kept me sane at times of worry. Thank you, my man. Well, I'm glad that, crypto can be a very stressful environment, like you buy into something and the next day it goes down 20%, right? But often you're looking at, where you're trying to get to and not just like the day-to-day ups and downs, right? The market can drive you crazy, but we've had a steady, good understanding of where all of this is heading. And I think if you look back at videos that we made, 2 years ago or, 3 years ago when the first channel first started, I mean, we were talking about similar things that are happening today, right? We're talking about the tokenization of financial assets. We said that, the trillions of dollars in the stock market would eventually be coming into the crypto market. We talked about regulation being a thing. We talked about banks offering crypto to customers. I mean, all of this stuff we have been right on at every turn. Now, obviously, there's things that maybe haven't gotten to a place quickly enough for a lot of us, and we'd like to see the market more established and well into the tens of trillions of dollars. But I do believe that's all coming. So we're going to get into all this stuff and more. Paul, great to see you, man. We got Christopher. What's up, Christopher? Since if possible, can you touch on XDNA protocol by BlackRock? Is it legit? I've heard of it. I haven't really researched it, but we can do this. Let me start this and we'll come back to this, Christopher. I do want to jump into this with you. So let's do that, man. I went from 40K to 23K, nearly sold, and you influencer saved me from making a stupid move. Man, I think we've all been there, Roots, and sometimes it's really painful to hold through something like that. And some people sell, man. I think it was like Aiden Ross, right? He sold his Ethereum at the bottom and he missed out on like $40 million in profit. So if you can believe in what you hold and you're not paying attention daily to the price, you are not going to make as many mistakes. But if you're constantly checking the price, like every second, it's down 5%, it's down 8%, like you're constantly stressing yourself out. So if your goals are to hold to like the end of the bull market or well into 26 or 27, whatever your goals are, just try to, be gentle on yourself, right? Because I think we're often our own worst critics when it comes to things, and we're often overthinking things and just give yourself a break. and try to, take some of that stress off your plate. But I'm glad that we were here to, help you get through this, man. That's really important. All right, man, I can say what's up. I can answer your questions for hours. Let's do this. If you're just now joining the chat, if you can hit like, I'd really appreciate that. If you're watching on X, if you can share on X, I'd really, really appreciate that. Retweet it, whatever you want to do. That would be fantastic. If you're on YouTube, just hit like. Let's go ahead and take a look at the market, and then I want to get into some news, and then I'm going to come and get into some of your questions. We'll get into what Christopher wanted to talk about. We'll get into some other things, but there's a lot of things I want to jump into first, and then we'll get into this. All right, so let's start here with the the crypto market. Bitcoin's up 5%. We're almost back to 120,000. Ethereum is at up 27%, man. I've been seeing some new updated forecasts for Ethereum, people saying $10,000 to $15,000 now. This is why I'm so focused on Base right now in my community. I've been really pointing people in cryptonaires to Base projects, and we've been seeing a little bit of success here recently. I think there's a lot of success here over the next few months, especially on Base chain. BNB's up. Okay, Solana's up. Cool. Solana's almost back to 200. That's pretty nice. ADA is at 84 cents, up 17%, man. We've been telling you about ADA, since like 24, 23? I don't even know, man. It's been a long time here. Chainlink is up 42%, guys. Man, if you would have just came to Sensei Chat like the last year, like we talk about Chainlink, we talk about ADA, we talk about XLM, we talk about XDC, we talk about XRP. Sui's up 14%. I mean, like all of this stuff. AVAX here is up 13%. There's just so much money to be made in this market. I did get to order my Silver Creator Award, which I did over, I got the email, what was it, on Sunday, and I was able to order this finally. This is for hitting 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And this was a really cool moment. I was waiting for the email to come in, and like the second I saw it, I yelled at my wife was, I don't know, she was like doing something, preparing for the week, and she came and I showed her, and we ordered it together, and it was just a nice moment. Looking back here on the last few years, I can't tell you how many people told me to kind of, take shortcuts, maybe pay for followers, pay for views, pay for, subscribe, pay for this stuff, right? And I always had a firm belief that if I gave somebody quality content and information, that they would come and they would watch. And, it took 3 years to get to this place, but I can look back and saying I never took any shortcuts. It was all hard work. And I couldn't have done this without my team, without my community, and of course, without my editor. So, man, just a really cool accomplishment. I even ordered one of these because you can order one for yourself. Of course, that's free. But if you want to order like a second one for your team, I ordered one for my editor, Cass. I felt like 1,300 videos in less than 3 years. He definitely deserves some love and support. So I was able to hook him up too. And so I'm waiting for this. They just got the email today that they finally shipped it. They shipped it ground. Let me tell you this. If you've never been able to order something from YouTube, they get you on the fees. Let me tell you, I paid like $200 to ship it. They use ground shipping. It's going to take like 2 weeks. All good. But like you can pay for like a desktop award, they charge you like $200. You can do another plaque. Anyways, I ended up spending like $600 extra through YouTube to get some of this extra stuff, but I paid for it. As soon as I get it, I will put it back proudly back here with the seal and the Mandalorian here. And it'll be a lot of really good fun. All right. This is some stuff I wanted to show you guys. Okay. So I was researching a video today. I wanted to better understand what like the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, and some of these institutions were doing as far as getting ready for crypto ETFs. And I stumbled upon something truly insane. So let me set this up for you because I recorded this video earlier, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what's in the video because I think you guys are going to absolutely love this. But let me see. I have so many windows down here. Just give me 1 second. I just need to pull something specific that I need to show you right after I show you this. And if I don't have it ready, it's not going to flow as well as I want it to. So hold on. You know what? Let me do this. Let me play it, and then I'll have to find it. All right, here. So here you go. This is CNBC. This is they're talking about the New York Stock Exchange. They're talking about in the NYSE, Nasdaq, and CBOE. Let me play this.
Speaking of crypto, Nate, similar to the push to market we're seeing in IPOs, you're seeing a lot of what you call a boatload of crypto ETF filings. What does that mean, and how does that differ from what we've seen in the past?
Well, it's interesting because the three major stock exchanges, so NYSE, NASDAQ, and CBOE, they have all filed with the SEC for generic listing standards for crypto ETFs, which basically means that the exchanges wouldn't need to seek specific approval for each spot crypto ETF as long as it meets certain criteria. So this would streamline the approval process. And that's important because right now there are filings out there from multiple issuers for XRP ETFs, Solana ETFs, Cardano, HBAR. We could go on down the list, but there are a boatload of filings out there. And the expectation is that the standardized crypto framework will be implemented, say, in the next 2 months or so. And so if and when that happens, I think you're going to see the floodgates open. We're going to see a wave of approvals, and you're going to see, again, a boatload of new crypto ETFs coming to market.
Okay, if you missed what he said there, let me show you this, okay? So he was talking about the three major stock exchanges. It's the New York Stock Exchange, right? NYSE. It is the NASDAQ, which is NASDAQ, and the Chicago Board of Exchange, CBOE, okay? And what he talked about, he said recently the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, and CBOE have filed proposals with the SEC for generic listing standards covering it's basically covering commodity ETPs, which include crypto-based exchange products like Bitcoin, Ethereum ETFs. These filings aim to update exchanges rules, and so that any crypto asset ETF meeting these standards could be listed without filing a separate individual request. So what this basically means is, you know how we have all of these institutions filing requests with the SEC for approvals? These stock exchanges are basically going to be able to cut the line as long as these products fit within the standard of what they're getting approved for. They're going to be able to list them more quickly. So what does this mean? This means other institutions wanting to jump in and list products on these different stock exchanges will be able to do that a little bit more quickly and efficiently. This is going to help, obviously, XRP, ADA, HBAR, and any other ETF that comes after. The reason this is a big deal is if you kind of start to understand this a little bit more, the reason this is important is take a look at how much money is in these ecosystems, okay? You have the New York Stock Exchange, $31.7 trillion. NASDAQ is $29.9 trillion. And the Chicago Board Options Exchange is only $25 billion. When I say only $25 billion, I mean comparing to these two, but this is $60 trillion ready to enter the crypto market, right? Because they're going to be able to invest in these ETFs and different products, and this money would come in. Now, I've shown you some videos and content that, you know what, I think I closed the window that I wanted to show you, but let me see if I can, history, hold on. I wanted to show you something else, recently closed tabs. Let me see if I can find this. Man, I was on one this morning. I got up at like 5:30 and I just jumped into all of this information really hard. And then I kept uncovering new layers of this, and I'm just trying to see if I can find, let me see, recently closed tabs. Let me go into my history. Oh wait, reopen all tabs. Is that going to work? Oh, I just reopened a ton of stuff. Hold on. Sorry about this, guys. Give me 1 second. I was trying to find a specific tweet. No, this is not helpful. Hold on. I just need to close this. Sorry. I just reopened like 150 windows and I didn't want to do that specifically. Okay, hold on. Wow. Okay. All right. Let me see if I can go in my bookmarks on Twitter and find what I want to look for. Sorry. Bookmarks. Did I save it? I didn't shoot. Okay. The reason this is also important, right, is because, hold on. Who has it? It is Digital Asset Investor, but I gotta find where it was. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up. I didn't realize I was going to get into this with you, but it's worth insurance company insurance. Here we go. Okay. So if you guys watch this video that I made with insurance companies, hedge funds, pension funds, brokerage firms, endowment funds, banks, and sovereign wealth funds and family offices all entering the crypto space on top of this value as well, right? And you take a look at how much money is in this. Insurance companies, 9 trillion, hedge funds, 4.7 trillion, pension funds, 43 trillion, brokerage firms, 35 trillion, endowment funds, 400 billion, banks, 27 trillion, family offices, 1.8 trillion, and then sovereign wealth funds globally is 13.9 trillion. So you have the stock markets, right? And then you have all of these other things that are all about to enter the crypto market at the same time. Okay. So when they're talking about like a wall of money entering the space, I don't think people realize how much money is about to enter the space. And you have CPAs and these types of people that believe that if you're young enough, you should be investing 20% of your net wealth into crypto. And if you're maybe a little bit older or kind of, in a certain place in life, maybe just do 10%. But now they're telling people 10 to 20% into the crypto market. So if you take a look at these numbers here, right? And we take 10 to 20%, let me just show you this real quick. So 10 to 20% of these numbers here, right? These three numbers here, would be 10% of this money would be 6 trillion. 20% of this money would be 12.3 trillion. Okay. And if we understand that the XRP right now is basically 5% of the entire crypto market, right? The XRP, XRP's market cap represents close to 5% of the crypto market, between 4 and 5. Okay. There's such a heavy demand for spot XRP products that in the initial push here, you might see, 10 to 15% of any new money coming into, these electronically traded fund products might go into XRP. So if we're thinking that some of this money could find its way into XRP, 5% of $6 trillion is 308 billion. 10% of 12.5 trillion is $1.23 trillion, right? And this is fresh money inflows into XRP, and obviously it's going to be other assets, but just this amount coming into XRP could change the price 2, 3, maybe even higher digits. So a lot of really cool stuff. If you're wanting the full breakdown of the video, it'll come out tomorrow on my channel. Obviously, I left out a few things here because I wasn't prepared to go fully in depth, but I just thought that was some really cool research that I wanted to share with you. Also, Wisconsin Senate introduces a bill requiring full KYC for Bitcoin ATMs, mandating photo ID for every purchase, capping transactions at 1K. I don't know, who in crypto is going to be like, hey, let me go down to a crypto ATM where I can only buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. Like, if you're going to have to KYC, you might as well just use like an exchange, right? Like Coinbase or whatever. I don't really understand doing this, but I think it's, they're trying to make sure that it's not used for any kind of nefarious purposes. Jim Cramer thinks Bitcoin can survive a financial Armageddon. This starts to get worried once Jim Cramer is on board. Let me play this.
Jim, Bitcoin's on the move today. A lot of the crypto stocks as well. We're not quite back to 123K, but we're close.
Well, it just continues to be, anytime you ever hear about what size the deficit is, or David, that the trillions of dollars in the interest has made a lot of younger people feel, this and Ethereum are a better place to be. I'm a huge believer in this, by the way, because I have very little faith that we're going to be able to grow our way out of. I cannot think about how we're going to grow our way out of our situation yet. Maybe.
You mean our debt to GDP?
I've not been able to figure out a way. So it's a great hedge against the.
It conceivably is. But if there's financial Armageddon, Bitcoin hangs in there, you think?
Yeah, I do.
Didn't Jim Cramer say crypto was like a scam and all of this stuff for years, and now he's on board? Oh God, we should be really, really worried about this. Listen, we got Darius Palomore with the 50 donation in pesos. This is what Maxi's fear. People will start asking themselves, should I go into Bitcoin or or that will spread more money to other coins. So yeah, so appreciate the donation. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. I always see you donating, and that's a huge deal for me. So Luna does thank you. We just got her a bunch of treats last week, and she's loving all the treats. So I appreciate you. Speaking about what you're saying here, when people are entering the crypto market, okay, for the first time, okay, and most people they have no idea what you know, the amount of information that you have watching this channel and watching other influencers and gathering the information on X and in whatever Discord communities or Telegram communities you're in. You guys have put in so much time and work and energy. It's not even funny, but most people coming in, they're going to have no idea about any of this stuff, right? And so you start to look at the top few cryptocurrencies here. You have Bitcoin, $120,000, right? What average investor is going to come into the crypto market and says, hey, you know what? I have $100,000 to invest. Maybe I will buy not even one full Bitcoin and I'll hold on to that for the rest of my life. You probably are not going to, you're not going to gather those people, right? And Ethereum is at $4,500. Ethereum in like a few months is probably going to be $8,000 or $10,000. The amount of money being poured into Ethereum right now is just stupid. So like people are just going to see Bitcoin, Ethereum as overpriced. The next best option for people is going to be XRP. The average person, if you try to explain what smart contracts do and all the functionality, people will get lost. But if you explain to somebody what a bridge asset is or a stable coin, people are going to understand that more easily, right? And so it's easier to understand XRP than it is maybe to explain, Bitcoin or Ethereum. So I think there's a lot of great things about what you said here. Darius, thank you so much for the donation, man. I really, really do appreciate you. Oh, man. I'm getting pumped up here. This is so much crazy stuff. Yeah, watch out. When Cramer starts being bullish on stuff, especially in the crypto space, man, you just got to go the other way, man. You don't even want to be on this block. It is interesting. It does look like Elon Musk, when back in 2021, did take a few shots at, Bitcoin mining, when this was kind of really centered in China. But people are dragging this stuff up now and reposting it. I just thought that was interesting to look at. Spot Ether ETF saw a record 1 billion in net inflows on Monday. One day, $1 billion in net inflows. Here it comes. This significantly exceeds Bitcoin ETFs, which saw a net inflow of about $178 million per zero hedge. Since May, these funds have seen more than $8 billion in net inflows. Imagine what XRP is going to do. Do you guys see the Paul Barron interview with Mark McClug? I think, is it Mark McClug? He's like the CEO of Canary Capital. Did you guys see that? I made a video about that. That was just released today. There's some questionable things that were said there, but he believes in the first 30 days, there'll be $5 billion of demand for XRP, spot XRP, right? And so you start to wonder that 5 billion, let's say it happens, what type of multiplier effect is it going to have, right? Is it going to have a 100x multiplier? Is it going to have a 250 or 500x multiplier? It'll be really interesting to see, because even let's say we get 5 billion and it's a 200x multiplier, you're in $1 trillion market cap for XRP, right? So I'm really interested to see like what impact that's going to have. And I'm going to really look forward to getting up here and talking with you guys about this. Oh, man. Yeah, just watch out for Jim Cramer, man. What's the highest XRP will go? I think it's impossible to guess that right now, right? I think there's a lot of people that believe XRP can reach 4 and 5 digits, and there's a lot of people that believe XRP is shit and trash and doesn't even deserve to be at $3. So, it depends on adoption. It depends, if Ripple can get their banking license. It depends, how many of these banks really have NDAs with Ripple and want to use the products. It's going to depend on the involvement of tokenization of financial assets and how much of that is built on the XRP ledger. I mean, there are so many factors that have to go into this. I know it's a very, it's a 6-word sentence, but it's extremely complicated. There's so many things that go into it. I personally believe that one day XRP could reach 4 or 5 digits. I personally believe that in my soul. how long that takes though, I know there's some people in the space that believe XRP can reach 4 digits this year or early next year. I've looked at some of those arguments about what would need to happen in order for that to happen. And I just I can't see that happening. But there's some really smart people in the space that can. And so I will be obviously rooting for those things, but I'm not expecting a 4-digit XRP in the next 4 or 5 months. I think that's maybe promising a little too much to the community. And the hard part is, when people listen to people with big followings and things like that, sometimes people take what you say as the word of God, right? As this is going to happen. And I've already seen a few people saying they've quit their job, expecting these big price increases. And, don't quit your job until it actually happens. Okay. I get it, right? Not everybody loves what they do for a living. I've been there, but just, make the money first and then quit. That's probably the best thing that you can do. All right. 4 digits, y'all tripping? I mean, I feel that. I've made some content recently exploring some of those higher price targets, I guess you would say, or suggestions, or I find it very difficult, right? You're talking about a $50 trillion market cap for XRP in 4 months. The entire financial system would need a collapse in the next 4 months, and then everything would need to be, yeah. Anyways, 5 years, maybe, definitely. 5 years, definitely possible. It would come down to, regulation as far as the tokenization of financial assets, moving, ownership of those financial assets on blockchain, connecting legacy systems to the new systems. There's a lot to still be done in that arena. But with as much money coming into the space, anything is possible. I think people underestimate how much XRP is actually left on exchanges. I know people see $100 billion number and they're we're never going to run out of XRP. But realistically, there's only about 8 or 9% XRP left on exchanges right now. And that fluctuates, right? Just a few months ago, there was only 4 billion left on exchanges, and that keeps getting depleted. So we'll have to see. I think it's 8 or 9% of the circulating supply is left, which is 4 or 5 billion XRP is actually left on exchanges. The rest is all spoken for. So, if there's a mad dash to buy and hold XRP, we could see those order books being shot through pretty quickly. So anyways, let's keep it going, guys. Let's keep going. I will get to some of your questions here in just a bit. Let's just get a little bit more news here. SEC Chair Atkins says the closure of the SEC and Ripple case creates an opportunity to shift energy from the courtroom to policy drafting table. Interesting. And build clear regulatory frameworks that foster innovation while protecting investors. I feel my life has less stress in it dealing with Paul Atkins over Gary Gensler. I mean, God, that was such a just long 4 years of my life. And it feels like a different life ago that we were dealing with all of this. And now we just have somebody that cares about the evolution of the crypto market. And just think where we could have been if we had somebody like this 3 or 4 years ago. All right. So this was actually a tweet. I've shown you this graph a bunch of different times, right? Phase 1 is Bitcoin. Phase 2 is Ethereum. We are in phase 2 right now, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of people taking money out of Bitcoin to go into Ethereum because they think Ethereum has the bigger, upside left in this market. So remember, Ethereum's going to go, large caps are going to go, alt season, then you should be looking for the exit. Okay. Obviously be prepared for it. I know there's people that believe we're going to have a bull market that lasts infinity, but there's always going to be a bear market, right? You just got to be careful. Peter Thiel, multi-billionaire tech investor, is going big on ETH treasury companies. He now owns 9.1% of BitMNR, which just expanded its ETH buy offering by 24.5 billion, now revealed a 7.5 stake in ETHZilla. So as you can see, billionaires are making even bigger moves to become even richer. Also, I've seen a lot of information posted about Chainlink recently. I think people are starting to finally wake up that Chainlink is a vital piece of the puzzle here going forward. Here's a 3-minute video. I'm not going to play this whole video. What I'll do is I'll play about 60 seconds of this and I'll post the video in the chat if you want to watch the rest of it. But I thought it was cool to show you some of this stuff.
If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that I made $1 million bet on this a couple of years back. When we're talking about crypto projects that are ready for mass adoption and already making big moves in traditional finance, Chainlink is right at the top of that list. This is the infrastructure layer that connects blockchains to real-world data, and it's already powering integrations with major banks, asset managers, and enterprise platforms. Just recently, Chainlink partnered with the New York Stock Exchange parent company, ICE, to bring Forex and precious metal data on chain, expanding its reach deep into the global financial system. The scale of those markets is staggering. The global foreign exchange market is the largest in the world, moving more than $7.5 trillion every single day. Precious metals like gold and silver also trade in massive volumes, with gold alone seeing $150 to $200 billion in daily transactions across futures, ETFs, and over-the-counter markets, and silver adding tens of billions more. Connecting crypto rails to that level of liquidity is more than just another integration. It's a bridge into some of the deepest and most established trading markets on the planet.
All right. I mean, guys, listen, you shouldn't be shocked about Chainlink, right? If you've been showing up to this chat, we've talked about it a lot. Very vital, important piece. You know, I'll leave that with what you will. Stega, thank you for the $5 donation. Appreciate you. Hello. Great to see you. How are things? All right, let's keep it going here. I got a few other things I want to show you. Benjamin Cohen says alts are down 50% against Ethereum since April. As I said below, this is ETH season, not alt season. So there's people that truly believe other altcoins are not going to have their day. It's just going to be Ethereum. I don't really agree with what this guy's saying, but this is the opinion of somebody that a lot of people follow. He's got 1 million followers on X. There's also this great video. I recently took a big position in Link, right? So this is a good video if you want to watch it. It's a YouTube video by Miles Dushisher. This guy puts a lot of really good content out. Oh my goodness, we have some donations here. Let's just talk about this. Chris Theodore, great to see you, man. Always great to see your picture, man. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the donation. Will Jones, demand scarcity and liquidity and will drive XRP price to 3 to 4 digits. I really appreciate you, man. Whoa, we got a big donation here. AED 74.99. M87 Messier is seriously undervalued AI deep in project Easy 20X Pro. M87 Messier. Let's see here. M87 Messier Messier. What? Hold on. Let's just see what's going on here. Crypto project inspired by the Messier 87 Galaxy aim to become a major force in DeFi. Let's see here. Market cap 50 million. CoinGecko. We'll pull that up. Circulating supply 880 billion tokens. Positives. Okay, let's take a look at some positives and let's look at negatives. Positives: active trading listing listed on multiple reputable exchanges. Community and transparency operates within public accessible smart contracts. Community governance. Security audits, multiple audits by known firms can be verified on platforms like Certic and Due Diligence. Risks and complaints. Reddit reports some users have reported issues claiming scams during token migration, loss of funds. That's not good. Unusual product complexity. While ambitious tech DeFi goals are complex projects, sometimes lack mainstream traction or long-term sustainability. M87 is a legitimate, actively traded crypto project on real exchanges, DeFi products. All right, man. Well, hey, I wish you absolute luck on that. I'll have to take a look at that on my spare time. I will star that, but I appreciate you sharing it. Thank you so much for the donation. Always hard to like check something in real time, like live. So appreciate you sharing that, but I will definitely take a look into that. Let me go here. A few other things I want to show you. Did I post the Miles Dushisher video? I think I did, right? You guys got that? Here, let me just post it again if I didn't. If you're interested in getting some good information on Chainlink, that is a video you should definitely watch. I obviously, I'm not going to put to understand like all of these things that are going on with Chainlink is going to take some time away for me really keeping my thumb on the scale of XRP and Ripple. And I just, right now I can't take my thumb off the scale. So I'm going to push other experts' opinions on the matter when I have good information, and that is something to take a look at. Ethereum price, Forbes says Ethereum to 10,000. I've seen even people talking about Ethereum to 15 or 20,000, which would be insane. The Wolf of Wall Street says, in a world chasing the next utility chain, my longtime partners at Aptos are playing a different game. Of course, they are from Facebook, right? Meta Roots, backed by BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, and Brevin Howard. Bitwise ETF in review. If you're not familiar with what Aptos is, let me just show it to you really quickly. Here is Aptos. The ticker is APT. Current market cap is 3.24 billion. If you compare this to something like Solana, Solana's market cap is 100 billion. So if this were to catch up to Solana's current market cap, it would do a 30x from today's price. Just wanted to point that out if you have not ever heard of Aptos. I did find this interesting. Mario Nafal's round posted this. Murano. I was thinking Nissan Murano. I don't know what's going on in my head here. Monero under attack. Cubic mining pool claims it seized over 51% of Monero's hash rate, enough to reorganize blocks, censor transactions, or double spend. Here's what happened. I thought this was really interesting. I don't own Monero, but if you do own Monero, you might want to, take a look at this. What happened? Led by IOTA co-founder Sergey Evangelo, hash rate briefly crossed the 51% line, around 60 orphan blocks in 24 hours. Confirmed chain disruption by Ledger CTO at Slowmist. And so here's kind of the pool share here at 52%. Market reaction, XMR price is down 15% in a single day. Traders rush to hedge against network instability. Is it over for Monero? Not necessarily. The attack may have been temporarily or opportunistic, but the fact is that it happened. It's a big deal for Monero's reputation. And then they're calling it's a Monero experiment. No further details yet. If you're not familiar, Monero is supposed to be like the top privacy coin. And so to have your, basically have Cubic's network take control and able to kind of block transactions and double spend, that's not good. That's not good. I think some people worry about the same thing happening with Bitcoin, right? If you control over 51% of the, the mining and the hash rate, you could do something very similar. Obviously, that would take a big amount of money to do something like that. And hopefully that doesn't happen. But you are starting to see like some very big corporations owning a lot of the mining for Bitcoin. And you start to wonder, is that ever going to be a problem? Let's see here, man. Ludog, Crypto Sensei, congrats that you reached 100K subs. Well deserved. Learned a lot from you. Kryptonaires, Grant Draco, Gabe, Lauren, back in 2021. Oh man, that brings back so many good memories. Yeah, man. Grant started Kryptonaires with me, man. He believed in me way back when, like when we first got started. Draco too, man. Those two guys ran together a lot. I still am, like, Gabe and Lauren are still actually with me at Kryptonaires, believe it or not. I think Grant and Draco went on to do some other things in the crypto space, but I miss all those guys, man. We had a lot of really good times, and we made a lot of money together. And definitely miss those guys, man. Thank you for checking in, bro. I really, really appreciate you. Yeah, Monero's not good, man. Did you see the Western Union partnerships? What are your thoughts? Yeah, I did see that. Let's pull it up, Chris. Let's pull it up, man. Hold on. Twitter. What was the company? Western Union. I think I could find it with like Western Union XRP. Somebody should have posted about it. Let me see here. Yeah, Intermex, right? For 500 million, right? This is what you're talking about? So I did put this in a video recently that I did. I couldn't find any announcements that the reason Western Union bought that company was because of Ripple's technology. Like, they didn't come out and say that, but that's what a lot of people are implying. And so if you're asking me what I believe or what I think about this, you have to understand, like, put yourself in the banker's shoes. There's a lot of bankers that didn't believe crypto would ever make it this far. There's a lot of bankers that are still actively trying to stop it, right? Because banks often banks at the highest level are making money off using, off allowing other banks to use their rails, right? JP Morgan makes billions of dollars per year off of allowing banks to use their rails to move money. And so you got to understand, now that we're in a place where we have a pro-crypto administration here in the United States, crypto is becoming mainstream, and there's only so much infrastructure in the world right now. And you got to imagine that crypto companies know exactly what they're doing and what they have. Ripple just gobbled up Rail, right, for $200 million. Rail it basically is I think it was like $3.6 billion, which is 10% of global business to business stablecoin payments. So you start to see some of these power moves, right? And power grabs. I would imagine you're going to see a lot more over the next few months. I think the news is going to be fast and heavy, but you got to understand this infrastructure is going to be extremely valuable in the future. It is the infrastructure of the future. So it makes perfect sense. Companies are positioning themselves right now to gobble up as much as they can. So Chris, thank you so much for the question, man. Really great question and good insights, bro. Can you go into the Vivo investment and how they were able to acquire? Yeah. I got you. I actually did a video about this, Richard. I know you can't watch all my content, but let me see if I can find the exact thing that breaks that down, because I should know where to look here. So Vivo Power. Let's see here. Here we go. I got you, brother. Right here. Boom. There it is. You ask and you shall receive. Hold on. Okay, so the question is about Vivo Power, okay? And so if you missed the news, let me just show you the news here. Well, actually, I can pull this up, right? Because did I link the tweet? I linked the tweet. Nice. Here. Let me see. Where is it? Here it is. So this was the tweet, right? This was the tweet that kind of spurred all of this. And so now we're going to get into what actually happened here. Okay. Vivo Power is purchasing $100 million worth of privately held Ripple Labs shares, not directly buying XRP tokens. The key mechanism here comes from how Ripple's valuation and its XRP holdings are being considered together. Ripple holds about 41 billion XRP tokens, representing roughly 41% of the total XRP supply. The deal values Ripple, not the current market capitalization of its XRP holdings, about 135 billion at the time I did this research, but instead at a much lower negotiated company valuation of 19 billion. By purchasing Ripple shares at this valuation, Vivo Power is gaining indirect exposure to XRP tokens at an implied cost of 47 cents per XRP token, which is far below the current market cap price. How does this discount work? Imagine Ripple's 41 billion held XRP tokens at today's market rate. That would be about 135 billion. Vivo Power is buying into Ripple as a company, which is privately valued at around $19 billion for the purpose of this deal. So interesting enough, Ripple's valuation has gone up from 10 billion to 15 billion, and in this deal valued at $19 billion. Therefore, the effective price per XRP token held by Ripple comes out to about 47 cents. 19 billion divided by 41 billion tokens. This calculation does not factor in Ripple's other business units or assets. It only values Ripple's XRP holdings. The obviously we can go into the benefit and all that stuff. So it says the setup allows Vivo Power, by owning Ripple shares, to indirectly gain exposure to large escrowed XRP reserves at a major discount to market price. Vivo Power will be a direct shareholder of Ripple, recorded on Ripple's cap table via special vehicles, allowing more transparent exposure. The company frames this as buying XRP at 47 cents, meaning it's leveraging the valuation gap between Ripple's private share price and the market value price of XRP. What I will do is I will share this link out. If you want to take a look at this research yourself, please do. And I appreciate the question, Richard. I hope that does answer the question for you, my friend. Let's see here. Lusk. Yes, bankers have been in meetings with the Fed, and we'll all know what the Fed is doing, which is overall screwing crypto. I mean, looking at the data, I think the Fed had to make a tough decision, right? Do I really want to get into this? Nope. Not going to get into it, bro. Not going to do it. I'm sorry. We're going to I'm going to have to go down a rabbit hole of stuff I just don't want to talk about today. Like I'm feeling really good and high today. Like, with all of the news and the market and the money, I don't want to mess that up talking about like tariffs and rates and job numbers and bankruptcies and all of this stuff. Right. So, let's just keep going on this other stuff, man. Let's see here. AK Scarface, not financial advice, but if you had a 401k building still, would you take it out early to invest in crypto through Vanguard? Or could you take out a loan out there and interest pays you back yourself? What would you do? I mean, aren't there some products that you can like directly invest in crypto with your 401k without like paying fees and stuff like that, or without, taking a substantial hit? I'd imagine there has to be a product like that, dude, right? I mean, obviously, you got to talk with like a financial advisor or somebody that understands all the ramifications, because I have no idea, but I can understand where your thought process is here, right? Like, let's say you have to pay a 30% or 40% fee, right? Maybe you also have to pay taxes. Like, I don't know what all those fees are. So you'd have to figure out all of that stuff. And then you'd have to figure out like, what is the potential upside here? Like, what are you actively going to put that money into? And what are you expecting out of that money? And are you going to be able to make it all work? But I totally get where you're coming from. I've started to kind of look at some different 401k companies to see it, like who maybe is good enough to work with. So, if people have these type of questions, I can send them directly to these people that are financial advisors, but I'm still kind of feeling that out right now. So if you have any good recommendations, feel free to send it to me and I'll take a look at it for you and give you whatever kind of feedback I can. But I get what you're saying here, my friend. Maybe somebody in the chat knows, maybe kind of, if somebody else has dealing with the same thing with a 401k and like maybe, took some money out of your 401k to put it in crypto and like what the fees were like. If anybody feels like they can share that experience, I'd really appreciate it. But if you don't, I totally get it, man. I totally get it. Longfellow, what's up? Lusk, man. Yeah, I don't like here, just, okay, hold on. Okay. This is what, okay. So like, the Fed has to look at so much information. Okay. And I know that we look at it like, why haven't they lowered rates, right? If you go back to this question being asked to Jerome Powell 150 times, he says that he didn't lower rates because tariffs are inherently inflationary. We have the highest tariffs in 100 years. The inflation is starting to go back up. Last month, it was 2.7%, and that is starting to tick up. Now you have the unemployment numbers coming in, right? The Fed's dual mandate is to fight inflation and employment, right? And so when both of those things are fucking up at the same time, excuse my language, I do apologize, the Fed has the mandate to fight inflation. But I hear what you're saying. A lot of people believe that rates should be lowered right now. I get both sides of the argument, right? And it does look like they're going to be dropping rates in September. You do understand when Jerome Powell is done, Trump is going to put somebody in there that he probably will control, and he's going to drop rates all the way down to the bottom. That is going to have some positive impact in the short term because people will be borrowing money for a lot cheaper. It's going to help, home loans and all of these different things, car loans, and that's going to help out. But you're also going to have to deal with that inflation on the other side of that. Now, that's going to be a kick the can down the road type of problem, but it's still a problem indeed. So I get what you're saying. I don't have any power to negotiate these types of things, but you're also looking at stuff like this, right? This type of data is not good. 71 large US companies went bankrupt in July, the highest monthly total since the 2020 pandemic. Like, you got to understand, they're not just taking a look at like, hey, how can I just, screw this up or screw that up? They're also looking at some of this data that is bringing us back to when we were totally shut down as an economy. This follows 66 and 64 filings in June and May, respectively. Year to date, there has been 446 large bankruptcies, the most in 15 years. Like, you got to understand, there's a lot of data right now that doesn't look too hot if you look underneath it all, right? Manufacturing in the United States has slowed way down. All of these tariffs globally people don't want to buy US products right now, right? Because they're so much more expensive because I tariff you, you tariff me, and now we're in this fucking tariff war. So there's a lot of things happening, right, that are not good. And there's a lot of things that are happening that are real good, right? I love the crypto stuff that's happening, but the economy stuff is questionable, right? So, all right. Didn't want to do it, but we got into it. All right. Oh, well. Whew. Okay. I did want to get into some other things here. All right. So because Ethereum is doing so well, okay, and because I think Ethereum is probably going to be at $10,000 before we know it, I believe, and I said this in Cryptonaires. So here, let me just pull this up here. Like, hold on. Let me just pull this up to show you guys here. If you're not familiar, Cryptonaires is my crypto community, been around since 2021. This was like a few weeks ago, right? Oh, shoot. Hold on. Base 1 to 2 million. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, here it is. Okay. Take a look at this. So back in 7/21/2025, this was a few weeks ago, I said, let's spend a majority of our time this week looking at base projects between 1 and 2 million, right? I understood that Ethereum was about to really start popping off because of all of the treasury companies and things that were happening. So I directed my team in the community to start focusing on base projects. And so some of the projects that we have been talking about inside of Cryptonaires, one of them is Atom. Okay. This is something that I believe can do some pretty insane numbers here over the next few months. Got into Atom roughly about $7 or $8 million market cap. This thing topped out like this, had a high kind of up here about 20. The first pump here was 24 million, came all the way back down to 9 million to pump all the way back up to 28 million. And now we're sitting at 15 million here. The next pump on Atom is going to be well over 30 million. There's a lot of people that are comparing Atom, to Timor and some other things. Let me show you this right here. So this is Ansem, right? Ansem's account. Let me just show you this. 770,000 followers on Twitter here, and they're talking about Atom here as well. Let me play this for you. Okay, so just to show you what this is, right? Atom token utility, Atom Voice of God's Virtuals is the heart of an advanced ecosystem focused on decentralized AI agent co-ownership and commerce. It uses the Agentic Commerce Protocol, the ACP, empowering users to interact with and invest in AI-driven agents, a trustless, autonomous setting. It's freaking crazy stuff, man. The project positions its agents as a voice of the gods, providing alpha exclusive insight on DeFi protocol, stablecoins, and investment opportunities. Followers receive curated analysis with a focus on yield generation over simple price speculation. Think of it as being an AI research with digital asset consulting in a fun community-driven format. Token functions. Atom is used for financial transactions within the Virtuals ecosystem, smart contracts, and decentralized applications, participating in governance and staking, and accessing or activating AI agents. All right. And so if you wanted to get more information on this, let me just show you this really quickly. Voice of the gods, voice of the gods. Hold on. Voice of the gods. Okay. So hold on. I need to pull this up and I need to pull this up. Okay, hold on. Voice. Hold on. Centaura. Here. Okay, so this is the founder, right? CEO of Centaura. Centaura is Centaura is a company, CEO and co-founder of Centaura, X Trident, X Coinbase, HSBC, Barclays, and UBS. So you've seen Centaura in the XRP community, right? This is followed by this person's followed by Firelight, Voice of Gods, and 18 others. Let me just show you Centaura. If you're wondering what this is here, institutional DeFi layer. Centaura provides the institutional grade foundation of powering the next generation of DeFi and real world assets. You know, there's some pretty important people, right? Igniting XRP Fi, announcing Project Firelight preview. So there is some connections here to the XRP space through this person. And, you know, there's some people that believe this could do some silly stuff, right? And so you see a lot of people posting about Adam here on the page here. But yeah, so this is one project I'm in pretty heavy. My position is well over $15,000 right now. And so I'm holding that as well. Something that we just got into recently here, Polytrader. If you're interested in this, is another base project that we've been talking about, Cryptonaires here. Let me show you this here, Polytrader AI powered poly market companion. Polytrader helps you make smarter data-driven decisions by analyzing market sentiment and providing actionable insights. Polytrader is your ultimate guide to navigating the world of poly market, which is a very popular, you know, kind of analyst platform that people do a lot of like betting and forecasting and things like that. So this is actually pretty cheap right now. This is at 718,000 market cap. So I'm in this one as well. And you know, there's just so much volume happening. Check this out. By the way, Coinbase DEX is only rolled out to 1% of customers, more than $2 billion in volume on Base yesterday. The volume right now is on Base. Okay, so a lot of these Base projects have a really good shot at doing some silly numbers, and this is why I've positioned about $40,000 or $50,000 in some of these projects here over the last few weeks. So, anyways, I'm expecting some big things happening on those. Really excited to talk about that. Adam stakes almost 15% on Coinbase. All right, let's do this. Let's jump into some of your questions, guys. I can't go all the way back up and read through all of this. But yeah, silence is golden. I know, man. I know. I have a problem holding my tongue. You know that. All good though. Yeah, I know. It's not sharing my screen. I'm sorry. Here, I was showing, if you want this, I will give it to you here. This is the breakdown of perplexity for Adam. If you want it, I will give it to you. I know sometimes my head just goes on a freaking run and like, I also got into this. This is a Solana project. If you're interested in taking a look at this is kind of trippy. This is called Grandom Ulsters Volume 1 update live. New agent share card added. Grand token info added to our menu bar. Agents yap less. Max stake multiple lowered. You could basically hire AI agents right now to play games and earn you money. So I thought this was a pretty trippy thing. Launch agent tokens that battle over the board for Solana, backed by Alliance DAO, which has a pretty decent following of 75,000 people here. But this is also something I put a few $1,000 into. I'm just going to see how that goes, man. Yeah, you know, I'm not perfect, man. I know I'm highly opinionated, and you know, it is what it is, man. You know, I've accepted who I am at this point. I try my hardest. I appreciate you. I love you. You know, like, you know, I held no ill will to like anybody. You know, I honestly like. People who think differently from me, I learn more from those people than I do people who just align with everything that I think and say. Like, you know, anyway, we care. I appreciate you. What are your thoughts on that, Val? What'd you say, man? Okay, yeah, protocol this. Let me get into this. BDAG layer 1. BDAG layer 1. I've never heard of BDAG layer 1. Let me do this. Let me get into Christopher's question here because he did ask this at the very beginning, and I did get sidetracked there. So XDNA. So I haven't spent too much time looking at this, Christopher. Let's do this first. Let's pull it up. Oh, hold on. Let's pull it up on Twitter here. XDNA. Let's see if we can find it. XDNA. Super helpful. Super helpful. Okay, let's go to Perplexity. Provide me with any information on XDNA and BlackRock connections. Let's see what we got. XDNA, traditional finance. XDNA is the ticker for the iShares genomics. I don't know. Immunology and Healthcare Index ETF operated by BlackRock Asset Management Canada Limited, launched in April 26, 2022. It tracks the NYSE Fact Set Global Genomics and Immuno by Pharma Index, providing exposure to biotech, pharma, and genomics companies. Crypto blockchain XDNA is also the ticker of a token project on the XRP ledger called DNA Protocol, which is focused on biometric identity, medical data access, and genomics using blockchain technology. The token launched on July 4, 2025, the same day the U.S. signed a major finance-related bill, adding to speculation that is its symbolic timing. BlackRock's connections to XDNA and Ripple XRP ledger ETF overlap. We don't really need to talk about that, right? Tokenization and identity. Reports suggest Ripple and BlackRock are both working toward tokenization asset ecosystems, including tokenized treasuries, right? That's not helpful. BlackRock's Aladdin system, rumored. I don't know. It looks like the project. Let me see if I can get linked to the actual XDNA. Hold on. I know some people have written about this. I think I've talked about this in a chat though, but I really didn't have too much knowledge as far as XDNA, the token itself. Is it on like CoinMarketCap? XDNA. No, it's not. It's not. CoinGecko? Hold on. XDNA. Extra DNA? XDNA. 2.6 million fully diluted. Let's see here. Twitter. Is this it? Christopher? I watch a bunch of your YouTube videos. You're the best. Robert, I really appreciate you, man. Thank you. And you have a beautiful name. Like, I will not forget it ever. Coming from New Hampshire. What's up, man? Great to see you. Great to have you. Christopher, is this it? XDNA protocol by BlackRock pre-sale is legit or no? I bet you it's not, dude. Like, okay, hold on. Do you have a link, Christopher? Can you like are you in Cryptoneers at all? Like, can you send me a DM with the link, or can you Twitter DM me the link and I'll take a look at it? I bet you $100 that it's fake. Like, I bet you $100 it's fake. Why would BlackRock be launching a token? You know, like it's probably, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Is there some pre-sale for XDNA token you can find? Pre-sale hosted by DNA Protocol. Hold on, here you go. The pre-sale is hosted by DNA Protocol, which is offering XDNA token for early investors. Stage 1 pre-sale provides a rate of 1 XRP to 30 XDNA. Oof. So it's like 30 cents. I mean, excuse me. It's like 3.5 cents or 3.3 cents. Oh no, excuse me. I was thinking 1 XRP is equal to $1. This is actually much more expensive. This is like, what is this? Like 10 or 12 cents. A minimum buy requirement of 100 XRP. That's a little suspect. All right. This is probably it, right? Did I find it? Yes, my name is also Robert. That's why I won't forget it. What's XDC? XDC is Zinfin. XDC is, they're working in the TradeFi space, right? So, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening on Zinfin. That's XDC. talked a lot about this like in the last cycle, and they've been doing a lot of stuff with like SBI. But the gist of it is part of what they're working on is when you ship goods into a country, right? Usually when those goods hit the dock, that's when the whoever's importing those goods usually pays for them. And using the old payment rails, that could take quite some time, right? Usually it takes anywhere from 3 to 5 days for a payment to clear. All right. And so those goods kind of sit on the dock for a period of time. So if you bring something in, let's say every week, and every week you're waiting, 3 days for your payment to clear before you can take your goods and start to put into use, you're starting to lose, over a year's period and, 20 shipments or 40 shipments, you're losing months of, where you could be putting that money to better use. And there's a lot of, businesses need more capital and need more loans, and they're kind of targeting this whole speeding up TradeFi, some multi-trillion-dollar industry that needs help. MLETR, there's a lot of stuff going on there. I'd have to really start to dig into it. I haven't looked at it maybe in the last few months, but definitely something I own some of. I used to own a lot more XDC, kind of, I sold a lot of it in the last cycle, and then I just never got back to buying as much as I had. But it's still something I own some of it. Onyx Slam, BlackRock never said that they were not doing an ETF for XRP. Yeah, Steven, I think there's been a lot of drama with the block, right? The block put out a hit piece article about that. And one day it was, BlackRock's not going to do this, confirmed by sources. Then the next day, somebody came out and said that, that was a hit piece. And so I did cover that in my videos back to back, if you're interested, over the last few days. Yeah, Christopher, send me the link, man. I like to take a look at it a little bit harder, but I've seen a lot of scams that start out this way. They target a new trend in the crypto space, but there could be some legitimate to it, but we would need to really dig into it. Who's behind it, right? Could we see the founder? What does their social media presence looks like? What does their Discord or Telegram look like? Can you contact the team? These are the types of things that I would want to dig into. What's some new news with XDC? Well, let's see if we can pull some up, man. Let's take a look. I could also perplexity search it, but I know you guys love when I do that. So let's see here. Real world asset tokenization by market cap. XDC network co-founder writes Hakan joined the Beyond Broke for yesterday's podcast. Let's see here. We're thrilled to share Game S one-stop hub, discovering, playing, and engaging in blockchain-enabled games. Looks like XDC's got a little game hub going. I mean, a lot of people are very bullish on XDC. Let's see what this says here. This was posted by my team. Hold on. You got Stellar, HBAR. XDC's right there. Hybrid blockchain that enables hybrid relay bridges, spontaneous block finality, and interoperability to create secure transactions and enable transparency between parties for interoperable cross-border trade. There you go. I will try to bring some more XDC news into the next stream. I promise. All right. Robert Fisher says never buy a presale. I mean, there's some truth to that, right? Very rarely does buying into a presale help you. I'm just trying to think to the last presale I bought where I was really excited that I got into that presale. It's been kind of a letdown, because what'll happen too is when a token launches, you'll get this this real big interest right when it launches, right? And you'll get this very big peak, and then the token will come back down and just be flat for a period of time. If there's not new updates and if there's not new things going on that are constantly engaging people, and if the team doesn't have any clue on how to market that token, you're going to be in for a rough ride. Best thing to do is watch a token launch, come back down, and then find a place where you feel comfortable getting in, but expect, not a lot of things to happen. A lot of new projects launch and they just don't have the updates. So when I when I talk with a lot of projects, because a lot of projects will, want to come and talk and see if they can come onto a live stream and this and that. And so like one of the questions I ask a project is, what is your actual plan for marketing? And don't tell me you're going to go talk to influencers and it's going to be great. Like, what is your 6-month plan? Like, what is your 3 to 6 month plan of like I want it lined up on a calendar of like what the posts are going to be, who you're going to be interacting with, what are the conversations you've already had with marketing companies, what is already lined up, what are the updates that are going to be coming out for your product over the next 3 to 6 months? How are you going to keep people engaged in your token and your ecosystem for the next 3 to 6 months? Why these updates happen? There's all of these questions that you should be, like every project, asking these questions. You know what, dude? Like I think I'm a little addicted to perplexity. Like I don't even like Google stuff really anymore. It's funny too. Like, my wife, I'll be driving and like, I'm not going to be on my phone while driving. Cause that's just not good. And so like, if something comes up where, my wife and I are trying to like plan something or do something, it used to be like, hey, can you just like Google this really quickly? And then I'm like, babe, perplexity it. And like, she gives me the funniest look, like, and like she's just messing with me. But, dude, it's helped me do so much more in a, like with my research. I can research so much more for like every minute that I'm spending on crypto. I can just do 100 times more than I could, right? Because if I was putting a video together and I had to research like different things, you'd have to Google search, you'd have to click links, you'd have to read their websites, you'd have to do all of this stuff. And now, you just kind of tell it what you want it to look at. You compile the data, you look at the sources that it's pulling data from to make sure those are good sources, and rock and roll, man. It's beautiful. I have XCC already. Emil Roy. Nice. Me too. I love it. Sounds good. Curtis, what's up, Curtis? Christopher, this was it. This thing is it. Join XDMA pre-sale. Okay, just really quickly, guys. We are looking at this as possible. Like, is it a scam or is it not a scam? So this is not something that I'm endorsing. This is not something that you should be going and buying. Just very, very like, do not go and buy this. We're just taking a look at this. There was somebody in the chat that wanted to look at this, and we're just going to take a look here. Okay. So stage 1, minimum buy-in 100 XRP. Interesting. They want you to spend at least $350. Okay. Maximum buy-in 1 million XRP. Okay. I can already tell you this is a scam, dude. I can already tell you this is a scam. Like, what company would allow you to buy $3 million worth of something, right? Yes. Give me your 3 million. I promise I will deliver you a product. This is not making me feel good, brother. And then they have you in a stage 1. You're going to get less if you don't participate in stage 1. Progress 1%. Okay. This is a scam. Is 100% a scam. Look, there's no other links. There's no other links to anything else. There's just this page where, you send us money and, we promise to give you something. Also 1% progress. If this was really BlackRock, there would be some type of insiders that would gobble a lot of this up early. Like, you probably wouldn't even be able to get in stage 1 or stage 2. I think it's a scam. I would stay far, far away from this. Far, far away. Unless you have a reputable person at BlackRock or connected to this project that's doxed, that comes out and says like, this, and this. Right now, I think that's a scam, dog. Didn't realize you were live. I know, it's so weird. I feel like sometimes I stream through StreamYard, and I feel like sometimes it doesn't tell people when I'm live. I don't know, like, it's frustrating. I prefer XLM to XCC. I totally get that, man. And I can understand why. Stellar has done a great job. Danelle Dixon, Jed McCaleb. I mean, I get it. Absolutely, brother. BlackRock bought $33 worth of ETH, and it's 33rd week of the year now. Interesting. Thank you, Jefe. Yeah, I think you can like just hold your flare there, right? And you can get extra. I think that's that's pretty cool, man. I mean, exchanges are always trying to find a way for you to keep your crypto on the exchange, because if it's on there, chances are you might use that to trade into other stuff and they can make more fees, but just be careful. Since it seems they always do that right in front of the gate, some for stocks open to market, up, up, down, up, down, and then we see what is going years to come. Feel that you need to get in on the pre-sale. Yeah, for real. Oh, let's see here. Robert Pellegrino says, how about fun thought? Trump will have Ripple give the government $1 billion XRP. When XRP hits 100,000, he pays the national debt off. I did a video on this actually. Like, does it make sense for the US government to buy Bitcoin, or does it make sense for the US government to buy XRP? And like, I gave it my best shot to break that down for people. I think it was like my number one watch video on my channels did like 250,000 views. I mean, $100,000 is a little crazy. Is a little crazy on the price, Robert, but I hear what you're saying, right? I think I'm trying to remember like what the exact math was. But like if the US would have bought like 5 billion XRP, they could probably buy it through Ripple or escrow or something like that. But even if they bought it through the open market, $15 billion, right? If they want to buy 1 million Bitcoin at $100,000, that's $100 billion, right? So the US government could save $85 billion. And then if XRP hit $10,000, you'd have $50 trillion, right? But like, how would you cash it out though? That's the hard part. I mean, how would you cash the Bitcoin out though too, right? But you notice that like they put that big crypto report out recently, like what was it, 2 weeks ago? And they didn't tell us how much crypto they actually own. I don't even think they know. I still believe they don't know how much crypto they have, which I don't know how that's possible, but like there's only one or two reasons why you wouldn't specify or tell the public, right? Because you've been building this up and building this up. The only reason you wouldn't tell the public is if they were going to react poorly about the information. Like I'd imagine that they don't, because a lot of people said that US had 200,000 Bitcoin, like 201,000 Bitcoin. And I saw some posts recently saying that maybe it's closer to 20,000 and that, the Biden administration sold a lot of it, but there's no definitive proof one way or the other. But, when is the US going to actively invest into American innovation, right? I think that was what I was frustrated about with Bo Hines, because he's out here talking about American innovation. We're going to support America and this and this. And then they're like, oh, well, we're going to figure out how to buy Bitcoin. And I'm like, how is that supporting America, bro? Like that's supporting your bags. That's supporting your family and your friends' bags, right? That's where you came from. So like, what are you going to do to buy XRP or XLM or Chainlink or Solana or Ondo? Like, what are you doing to support these projects? And the hard part is when Trump did all this stuff, he did it by executive order. And when you do things by executive order, you don't have taxpayer money behind it. So he cannot issue, taxpayer money to buy anything, right? Because you can't do that by executive order. So, you got to go back to Congress and the Senate and have them draft legislation that says we're going to invest 1% or 3% of America's tax revenue into this asset or these assets. And that's the only way it's going to work. I hope that helps you better understand that. Flare, baby. Yeah, I bought another 100,000 Flare the other day, actually. I've been adding my Flare bag. I'm getting really bullish. Richard's been sending me a lot of information on Flare, man. Jezabar, what's up, man? Hey, Sensei, do you go with family when you talk to them about crypto? Does it feel like you're talking to the wall? No, dude. Like my dad is the one who actually got me into XRP. Like he was the one who sent me a video 5 years ago, changed my entire life. Listen, I watched one video on XRP and it changed my whole life. I was selling real estate and I was, I'm good at sales. I can like pay attention to what somebody's saying. I can take a look at their body language. I can assess that if somebody's happy or uncomfortable or they don't like something, like I can pick up on a lot of those things. I have a very high IQ when it comes to, dealing with somebody like that. And he sent me the one video on XRP. I can't remember what I was doing, but he's like, hey, can you take a look at this to me and let me know if I should be buying this? And I was like, okay, what the hell? And I watched the video. I think it was a Digital Perspectives, Brad Kimes video, and changed my whole life. Like, changed my whole life. I was, in my free time back then, I was playing video games, right? 35, 34, didn't know what the hell I was doing in life. I was trying to figure this out a bit at a time. And I knew immediately that I needed to change whatever I was doing in my life to better understand this technology. And this is where it's led me. So when I go to family events or dinners with friends and things like that, I don't bring it up unless somebody brings it up. Right. When I am like, it's funny. So, I go to the same place, get my hair cut, my eyebrows done, right? Because my eyebrows get a little crazy. So I take care of them. And so the person that does my eyebrows, her name's Patty. And so Patty somehow found one of my YouTube videos. Like she knew I created YouTube content, but she didn't know like what specifically I was creating content about. And her husband ended up finding one of my XRP videos. And she was like, she's not used to seeing me with like all of this energy, because usually like I go to the salon, I'm chilling, right? Like I don't want to think about anything. I'm sitting in the chair, just, I'm very calm, very silent, and she was like, oh my God, I didn't even recognize you. You have all of this, personality and all this energy in the videos and what's it called? But yeah, if people are interested in talking about it, like if they bring it up to me, of course I will engage. But, if they don't, then we're just going to talk about, whatever, movies, shows, traveling, boring stuff. Can you explain how to store XRP? Crypto Rich. I mean, the safest way you can store XRP is probably some type of, cold wallet, like a Ledger or a Treasure or a Decent wallet. Those are kind of the three most popular people talk about, but there's also others that people trust. Obviously, like a step above that, maybe not as secure, would be like a wallet on your phone. The issue with that is, it's on you at all times, right? If you get robbed or, if somebody knows you have crypto on your phone, hey, transfer me your crypto, right? Like that could very well happen. So, I feel the safest way for my crypto is to store it in a cold wallet. So I hope that helps you. What do I think about Telcoin? Hey, Connie, great question. I just, not many people bring up Telcoin, and I haven't properly researched Telcoin in the last few years. So I just wouldn't be the best judge of character on what's going on with Telcoin. I would love to help you, but I just don't have enough knowledge about Telcoin to make any difference in your life. So I definitely would recommend maybe engaging with somebody that does a lot of Telcoin content that can really answer that question to the full ability. But I wish you absolute luck. One thing I would say is, when I do these live chats, a lot of people ask about different tokens. And I can tell you that Telcoin is one of the tokens that is mentioned very rarely. And so what like the first thought in my head is, well, if a lot of people are not mentioning it, so it means a lot of people are probably not in it. Doesn't mean that there's nothing there, and doesn't mean that all of these things may not be happening in the background, but the community and the interest is very important, right? And so you want to go where all of the money is. Right now, the money's in XRP, the money's in Bitcoin, the money's in Ethereum and Base and these type of, ADA. Like ADA is something that I'm trying to buy more of right now. Like I'm actively taking steps in my life to buy another $10,000 worth of ADA tomorrow. Okay. Telcoin is just not on a lot of people's radar right now. So I just, I'd be careful with that, but I'd also, definitely inquire with somebody that can answer your question. Okay, Connie, thank you for your being here. Okay. Where do you think flares will go? Hard to say, bro. Like, it's a whole DeFi layer, right? Especially if XRP blows up, Flare's going to go with it, right? Flare's going to go with it. And Flare right now is what, has $1 billion market cap? Let's just take a look here. Oh, let me just pull this up, my friend. Let's close this garbage because we don't need that on the screen. Let's see, share screen. Let's go to this. Let's go to Flare. 1.6 billion. A lot of upside here. A lot of upside. In this cycle, 10 cents, 20 cents, probably, but crazier things can happen. Like if XRP does some stupid stuff and Flare becomes like the #1 supported, DeFi layer with all the F assets, it's going to be pretty impactful. Pretty impactful, man. Thank you for your question. What if they bought into Crow? I think maybe you're asking somebody else about that. I think the crypto index tick bite, the same type of scams and pre-sale. Yeah, guys, you got to understand, like, there is more people actively trying to scam you in the crypto market that are actively trying to help you. Okay. Now, like, let that sink in for a second. There's more people in the crypto market who are actively trying to hurt you than help you. All right. Everything that you look at pre-sale wise or whatever, know this, right? And I've learned this the hard way over time, right? Projects will tell you what you want to hear. They will promise you the world, and they will fail to deliver almost every single time. Anytime somebody gives you a timeline of something happening, just assume that timeline is not going to come to fruition. All right. I can tell you that I invested into something like a year ago where they told me, hey, this would be launched, early 2025. Then it became, okay, quarter 2, 2025. And now it's become quarter 3, 2025, and it's still not launched, right? Projects will promise you the world and deliver you absolutely nothing. Always, always, always. Don't trust, verify. Would you sell your XRP if it hit $50? No. I know some people would. Some people sell it at $10 and $15, right? But like $50, like, unless you own like a million or 5 million XRP, it's not really going to do a whole lot for you, right? If XRP can hit $50, why can't it hit 100 or 500 or 1,000, right? The utility is there. We just don't know how long it's going to take for all of this utility to really, filter through the entire ecosystem, right? But no, I don't think I would. But I people that will do it, I get it. I understand. Some of this money is going to be so impactful to people's lives, especially if you're like living paycheck to paycheck and you've been holding XRP for like 8 or 10 years or something like that. I totally understand cashing out and just enjoying your life. I get it. But $50, I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be reporting on the news and the information, and I'll still be holding. Vadim, interesting here. Vadim says, I believe the US government has a significant amount of XRP on the books already. That's intriguing. Vadim, man, I would love to like see some documentation on that. I get where you're coming from though. Like, there has to be some type of government program somewhere that they're, buying or collecting these assets. You would think so, right? I hear that, man. So Ethan says 1250 by December, not happening. Rough. XRP takes over Swift in November. Stay patient, fam. Ooh, I don't. No. Take over is a strong word. You got to understand, like, Swift is every bank in the Swift system owns a share of Swift. So you're saying that XRP takes over the entire banking system by November. That sounds more like a Jake Claver, promise than what's it called? I don't believe that's accurate. You don't even have the steps that you would need to make that happen, right? Yet you still need regulation, clarity. A lot of this stuff is still taking effect with stable coins and all this other stuff. I just don't see it, man. I'm sorry. My dad is a very smart man. He's old school, hard to talk to sometimes, hard to deal with, but I love the guy. And he helped me get to where I am today. So I owe him everything. Lizard King says, look at $100 by Christmas, bro. That would be like, see, that's something that I could get behind, right? $100 by Christmas. That could make sense to me, right? Because the demand for XRP ETFs, we're probably going to get some of this stuff approved in October, and the demand is real, right? There's a real thirst for XRP. That is definitely achievable in my head, but like $750, $1,000, like I think we're just biting off more than we can chew there, you know? Oh man, I'm way behind on comments here. Let's see here. Cryptocurrency state. If you hold an asset like XRP, the best exit strategy is to borrow against the asset. That is what real millionaires do. Get that money and put it to work without paying taxes. That is the switch. That is a a lot of people believe what exactly you just said, right? Making your money work for you. That way you never have to sell the asset. That's a real strategy that a lot of people are going to do. Well said. ADA is poo. Yeah. But listen, we can all have personal feelings about what it is or isn't. The fact of the matter is, with their, the midnight airdrop is bringing a lot of people into the ADA ecosystem. And Charles Hodgkinson believes in his heart and soul that ADA can outperform Ethereum in, every way, shape, or form. He believes that. And he's going to try to make that happen. He's going to put a lot of his own money into it. He's going to do everything that he can. I don't know, man. Charles Hodgkinson's a lot smarter than I am. Like I listen to this guy talk about supercomputers and quantum, physics and all this stuff. And like, man, the guy's just on a different level. And I wouldn't underestimate somebody like that, man. I think ADA is still going to do some good numbers, bro. Let's see here. OSW says most of holders are weak hands, and most of them will sell between $7 and $20. So $50, almost all the weak hands will disappear. Yeah, I think that's a growing, concern is probably the wrong word, but it's a growing, a lot of people feel the same way that you do, that, there's going to be some big shakeout, right? Where, it goes up to like 20 or $25, everybody sells. And then, you get some larger move or some global takeover. This is why, like, I'm just here enjoying it, right? I have money invested in the rest of the crypto market. I'll be taking profits on a lot of that other stuff, and I'm going to be adding to my XRP. I'll be adding to like ADA, XLM, HBAR, Chainlink. Those are the things that are still going to be here in like 5 or 10 years, right? See, Frank's got it right here. Frank says he's going to take his beautiful wife on a nice vacation. Let's go XRP. Frank, where are you going to go? What is the plan here, Frank? Like, where are we going, man? Are you going to send me a ticket? Like, are we going to go together? I'm just kidding, Frank. Seriously though, where are you going to go? Like, I have been talking to my wife about taking a cruise to, like, I want to see Italy. I want to see Greece, right? I've always wanted to go there. And it's really difficult for me to travel because of the limitations that I have with my body. Like walking very far distances or standing for a long time. I just can't do it physically. And so a cruise like helps me kind of get to the places that I need to go, and I can see and I can, go out and experience it. But I've been like looking, I've been looking at a celebrity cruise, Italy or Greece. My wife just wants to go for like, a 10-day or 11-day because she doesn't want to leave our dog alone for too long, which I get, but I'm really looking forward to taking a vacation after, this cycle concludes. Like I can take a break because like most people don't realize that like when Saturday and Sunday come, I am creating content on Saturdays and Sundays, you know? And some days or some months, I will work almost every single day in the month because there's so many things happening and I don't want to fall behind. And so like, if I'm going to try to take like one day off during the month or whatever, I'll have to, pre-plan content. Like I'll have to make like 4 videos one day and then 4 videos the next day. That's 8 videos. That gives me a 2-day like buffer. And so I get that, man. Hey brother, is XDC worth buying now? Absolutely. Driving music, XDC is worth it. Absolutely. It will work with Swift, not totally replace it. Yeah, I don't think you could totally replace Swift. Because then you're talking about replacing the entire banking system. Like, what are banks going to cease to exist? Like, where are people going to keep their money? You gotta understand that, replacing something means that something fails to exist because now it's replaced, right, with something new and something better. Okay, where are people going to move all of their money, right? Like banks have been here for hundreds of years. Okay. They have been here because they understand that technology changes. They pay a lot of money to analysts that predict these types of things. And so if you don't think like JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America and Citibank and all of these bigger institutions are understanding the time and change that we're experiencing right now, you got a very hard conversation to have with yourself. These banks will continue to be banks. Right now, they will start using this technology more because their customers will demand it now, right? But replacing them, just not going to happen. Some banks will fail this test. This is a test. Some banks will fail this test. They will not go with the flow. They will not see what is already on the horizon, right? With the innovation, the technology, speeding up payments, making them cheaper. Tokenization of financial assets. Some banks won't make the change, and those won't be banks. And you will see bank closures and bank failures. It's just a part of life. But if you think you're getting rid of the biggest banks and institutions in the world, like, listen, they're still in all kinds of profit, right? They're not losing money. Now, the bond market is a different conversation, but they're still going to be here. They're still going to be here. $4 by December. Ripple is dumping billion coins a month. That's actually not true, Carlos. So what you mean to say here is that every month a billion XRP gets unlocked. I think that's what you mean to say, right? Now, not every month, Ripple unlocks a billion, but they will also go back and relock up, some of that. Some of that does get sold, and some of that gets, sent to their partners, but dumping a billion coins a month, if you actually look at the data, that's inaccurate. But I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Sensei. Appreciate you, man. Can XRP come to $3 again? Ooh, it might be difficult, but never say never. You could have a black swan event tomorrow. Like, I've seen some crazy shit in the crypto market, like Terra Luna collapsing. That was some crazy shit, right? FTX collapsing, that was some crazy stuff, right? Like, Celsius, like these are types of things that, if you looked hard enough, you probably could see some cracks in the armor, but a lot of people still got caught, with their pants down on that. And so I think there's black swans events are definitely on the horizon, and they could pop up at any moment. And that could, we could have a flash crash really quickly. Mason Tyler says, where can I buy XDC? So let me show you this, guys. So listen, if you're just now new to crypto and you're not familiar with how all this stuff works, all good. This is what you come here for. So if we're on CoinMarketCap here, I'm just going to use CoinMarketCap, but you can also use CoinGecko. If you search XDC here in the search bar, you pull up the right token here. And then on this part here, you have chart, you have markets, you have news, yield, and about. If you click on markets, this is where it's going to actually tell you every place it's traded. Okay. So here it says it's on Bybit, and you can XDC against USDT. So you're going to need to use USDT to trade against XDC. It's on BitGet, Mexi, Gate.io, KuCoin, HTX, Bitfinex, BingX, Bitstamp, Binance, Gate. I mean, it's on a lot of places, my friend, a lot of places. So if you have any of these exchanges, BitTrue, Femex, Coinex, you can trade it on any of these places. All right. Let me just give you this. Okay. I'll give you this link and hopefully that helps you, my friend. Okay. Thank you for your question. Too much blood on banks' hands and they have to be reorganized at the very least. Listen, I don't disagree with you at all. I think banks get away with way too much, right? Did you see that John Oliver episode recently? I think it was like a weekend or 2 weekends ago, where he's talking about HSBC and I think it was preferred some. Oh, I can't remember what it was. It was preferred. Hold on. Preferred prosecution agreement. John Oliver, preferred prosecution agreement. Let me see if this is it. This is it. Oh, I don't want to get striked here. Watch this. If you're interested in that, watch what I just linked you. Here, this John Oliver video about preferred prosecution agreement. I can't really this is it. Deferred prosecution agreements. This was actually a really good episode, and it talks about some stuff HSBC has done, and nobody got in trouble for it. Nobody got arrested. They paid a few $1 billion worth of fines, but they were laundering money for the cartels, openly laundering money for the cartels. But yeah, there's some crazy stuff in there, man. LAX, I'll see you, bud. Yeah, we're 1 hour and 41 minutes. We're gonna answer a few more questions here, and then we'll disconnect here. Can XRP reach $1,000? Art, I believe so. I believe one day. Is it going to hit $1,000 by the end of this year? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. It would take an act of God to do something like that. I would be very happy if it did, but I am not counting on $1,000 by the end of this month, the end of this year, or the beginning of next year. But will it hit $1,000 eventually? There's a lot of people that believe absolutely it will. Yeah. So Scott, I can tell you this, Scott. I don't know the ZBIC team, and we've talked about this in past on the show. I have not seen an announcement from Ripple about working with ZBIC. There's just some weird stuff going on there. Half the community likes ZBIC, half the community doesn't. I would just, I would wait for a real confirmation from Ripple before, just believing it. Be careful. Are you leaving too, Ariana? Later, Robert. Oh, Robert's leaving. My bad. I got you. Let's see here. Darius says, to have stacking in XRP is my dream right now. I'm just sitting there. I got weekly rewards with ADA, Atom, and even HBAR. Man, you're set, brother. You're set. Left bath my son. I took a shower. You're still here. Yeah, we're about an hour and 43 minutes in. We'll probably be here for another 10 minutes, just answering some more questions, and then I'll probably disconnect. I've been going hard since 6 a.m. and just I need to give my mind a break. Yeah. Yeah. I was wondering where you were, Richard. I was like, where's Richard? I need Richard for this. Let's see here. Do you know what the other side, the market multiplier is, and who even came up with this? So who came up with it? I think I can't remember the first person. I've heard some people mention this, but until I actually researched this myself, you know, I needed to look at the hard data myself. Okay. What a market cap multiplier is, okay, if you're not familiar with this term, is there's crypto assets like XRP don't have as much liquidity as people think there are in them. Okay. And basically, when you have new inflows or outflows where people are coming in and buying fresh XRP off the open market, you can get like 10 million or 15 million dollars in fresh inflows in 24 hours, and that can change the market cap, you know, 10 billion or 15 billion. Okay. Now, if you look at like fresh inflows and outflows over the last few months, you can research this all yourself if you want. But the average multiplier that is seen is anywhere from 100x to 589x, which is silly because 589, but it's like 100 to 600x. Okay, if you want some information on this, I can help you out, bro. I got you. Let me do this. Let me bring up my Perplexity search. Let me go my library and let me go market cap multiplier. I've done like this. Like I've done a lot of research on market cap multipliers, so I could give you some of this data. I was even looking at Bitcoin market cap multipliers, just a few days ago, August 11th. This was yesterday. I was looking at this data. This is yesterday's searches on market cap multipliers. There's a link for you. Actually, I think I need to share it. There you go. Copy link. Then I can share it. Sorry. I sometimes forget I have to hit the copy button like that. But yeah, there's a lot of information that I have about market cap multipliers. Let me see here. Yeah, like the best information, like you can use AI. The AI is super helpful with this, but like what you could also do is like what I did before is you can search market cap multipliers. There's a lot of information on this now on X. Multipliers. Like Phil Kwok built a model that you can even use here to take a look at this. But like everybody's talking about it. Like I did a video back here on July 17th. This is one of my more popular videos. Oh shit, I'm not sharing my screen. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I just searched market cap multiplier on X here. And just to show you what's on the screen here, this is the thing that Phil Kwok made. You can take a look at. But there's a lot of data. Like you just take a look at inflows. You want to look at information on inflows. Chad Steingraber posts a lot of information about inflows for XRP. And people build simulators too. But the problem with this simulator, like this person built a simulator, but they're using a market cap multiplier on tokenized assets, and you can't. It doesn't work that way. Where do you think XRP is heading in the next couple of years? I mean, a lot of people believe it can go to 3 or 4 digits in the next couple of years. I think that's a fair assessment. I think people don't really understand how much money is about to enter the crypto space, right? And if you're looking and investing in the top 3 crypto assets, it's either Bitcoin, it's Ethereum, or it's XRP. And I think those will be the top 3 for quite some time. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. So I think a lot of stuff ahead. First, I saw Zach Rector talk about it. Secret Source Club. I think you might be right, man. I think you might be right. I'm trying to remember who it was, but you could be right. I think it might have been Zach Rector talk about it a while ago. Thank you, SS. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, Secret Sauce, for saying that. Let's see here. Brian says, if you don't mind, warn people about Assets US LLC. They look legit, but they are a scam, and they will take your money. Unfortunately, I fell for it and lost a bunch of money. Man, Brian, I'm really sorry to hear that. I don't know if this will make you feel any better, but a lot of us, including myself, have been scammed, heavily in the crypto market. And it's sad, man. It's a damn shame. And I'm really sorry to hear that. Everybody is trying to scam you, I feel like, right? Like I spend so much time deleting scam comments on my YouTube videos. Like I spend an hour or two of my day every day trying to get rid of comments. And sometimes people like fall for it, right? Sometimes people don't know, like they see like a text me on WhatsApp and they're like, oh, Sensei's trying to, talk to me or something like that. And this is like all influencers with a decent following deal with this. And I appreciate you bringing up Assets US LLC. And I'm sorry to hear that, Brian. Oh, Matt says, I know what it is. All right. My question is, when do you think the multiplier will take effect? It's already in effect, Matt. So it's already here. Like, it's not something that we're waiting for it to happen. Like, it exists at all times. Okay. It sounds like you should do a little bit more research on this, right? To better understand it. Okay. It's happening as you speak. Inflows and outflows of fresh either buying XRP off the open market or fresh selling XRP into anything, right? Dumping XRP. You get this multiplier effect because there's not enough liquidity in the token. It's not a 1-for-1 exchange. Okay. So if you get like $10 million of buying action in 24 hours, that could move the price like 20 cents, which could be 10 or $15 billion of market cap. But if you have a massive selling of 10 or 15 million, you can get the same multiplier effect on the way down. Okay. It's existing at all times right now. At some point in the future, when there is enough liquidity inside the XRP token, the multiplier effect will be less and less. But you can even look at Bitcoin right now. It still has a multiplier effect at, $2.5 trillion market cap. It's not as significant as XRP because XRP is, less than 200 billion and Bitcoin's at 2.5 trillion, but it's still there even with Bitcoin. Okay. But I appreciate you asking, Matt. I'm waiting for H bar to hit $1. I mean, shit, Sebastian, like what we're talking about, a 3X. We'll get there, my man. Yeah, there's a lot of scammers. Oh, I didn't know that. Thinking that the multiplier was on the way down too. Dang. Yeah, exactly. So that's one thing that a lot of people don't tell you, right? It's with inflows and outflows. But like when you come to this channel, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly regardless, right? Because you're here for factual information, and I'm going to try to do everything in my power to give you both sides of it, right? It can work on the way up, but it can also, suck on the way down. But what you got to understand here is we're about to get approved spot XRP ETFs. And because those are going to require more demand to buy XRP off the open market, right? Because, I even had to explain an ETF to my dad today because he didn't fully understand this, which, I don't think a lot of people do understand it. So let's just talk about it for a second. Okay. An electronically traded fund, right, is basically this is a stock market. You can buy into this fund, you buy a share of this fund, and depending on the fund, one share will represent like 10 or 20 XRP, right? So you can actually, you're buying the fund that represents this amount of XRP. So if XRP is going up, the price of that ETF will go up as well. And if it goes down, that could go down. But when you're having this new demand, these ETFs will need to fund the ETFs with fresh XRP. So as people are buying these stocks, right, that represent XRP, the fund itself will need to fund those ETFs. What's with fresh XRP? So you're going to get, maybe 3 billion, maybe 5 billion, right? The CEO of Canary Capital said he thinks in the first 30 days, we'll see 5 billion in fresh investment into spot XRP ETFs. Now that 5 billion will have a market cap multiplier that comes with it. It'll be anywhere from 100 to 500x. So it'll either take us to 500 billion or $2.5 trillion market cap. But as we start getting higher, the market cap multiplier won't be as high. It'll go down to like 70 and then 50. And then, sooner or later, it'll be under 10. All right. Let's see here. Curtis says, Sensei, fun fact, Zach's video the other night was the multiplier for the day was lower for outgoing than incoming. So we actually had more outflow that day, but XRP price went up. That's interesting. Like, I haven't spent too much time looking at like every single day, but that's good information to have, Curtis. Appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. There's people just, the amount of money that's about to enter the crypto space, I think people do not realize how much money is coming. Okay. Tens of trillions of dollars will be entering this space over the next few decades, right? If you're talking about tokenized value, you're talking about hundreds of trillions of dollars over the next few decades, right? And all of that is going to have a tremendous impact on the assets you own, right? Owning the gas token, right? The layer token, the XRP, the HBAR, the XDC, the XLM, that is the protocol. You're owning a piece of that whole network. The more value that is transacted, the more liquidity, right? That is going to be worth a whole lot, right? Some of this stuff, technology will fail. Some of it won't get mass adopted, right? Some of it won't, but the stuff that does, the stuff that stays, that will be incredible. Charles, I think you should not advertise your, don't advertise your holdings, right? Yeah, you never want to tell people how much you have. Sorry, the multiplier doesn't work with the theory. Banks can't allow the price to drop such multiples. Huh? It's not like you can turn the multiplier effect on and off. It's there. Like, it's not like the bank can say, hey, we're going to have a multiplier effect with this money, but we're not going to have it with that money. It doesn't work like that, right? The bank doesn't specify what the multiplier is, right? The bank is just offering a platform for people to invest. They have nothing to do with the multiplier effect. You're getting this stuff mixed up here. Clive Chang says, thoughts on VeChain. Hey, Clive, appreciate the donation, man. I really, really do. Thank you. I haven't done any current research on VeChain, man. I do apologize. I know that a lot of people believe in VeChain. I've seen some updates on Twitter, but I just, I'm not in it every single day. So my brain is not like memorizing some of these things. Like with XRP and Ripple, I'm researching this stuff like, 8-10 hours a day sometimes. And all of this stuff gets kind of seared into my brain. It's not like that with VeChain. I know there's, a few like bigger celebrities that only own VeChain. And, when it comes to supply chain, I think VeChain is probably one of the most popular digital assets when it comes to all this stuff, but I just don't have any really good information to give you, Clive. I'm really sorry, but I know a lot of people believe in it, and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon, man. I think you're going to be probably good there. Jerry Campbell says, ICP, XRP, and ADA. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, guys, it's okay. Like, it's okay to be wrong, right? I can tell you that I have been wrong so many times in my life about stuff, but like, when we're wrong, right, we get the right information and then we don't make the mistake going forward, right? And so like crypto can be very complex. There's a lot of moving parts. And so like your opinion should always be evolving with new information that comes out. So, appreciate you, OSW, for sharing your thoughts, but it's good to kind of iron this out, have the conversation more publicly, so we can all be on the same page here, so we can really understand the topics at a high level. That's very important. So I appreciate you sharing that. Later, John. Always good to see you, brother. Have a good weekend. But appreciate you, OSW. Yeah, hopefully you don't think I'm picking on you or anything like that. I really appreciate you sharing your ideas, and I always want you to do that in this chat. Just when some things are I need to like correct them in real time, I'm just going to do that, okay? But I hope I really appreciate you being here, okay? See here, Vadim says once banks are actually using XRP for every day, the price will remain stable because of it. That's very very true. Lizard King says VChain Cha-ching or China? VChain China. Oh, he's saying China. Got you. Your videos, you're dropping videos while you're live. So my team, so okay. I don't edit my videos, all right? Like it's one thing to research the content and then make the content, right? Some days I can research something and put it in a video and just go, right? I don't script. I don't, but like if I am working on a video and I'm 6 minutes or 10 minutes into the video and my mind goes a certain direction, or, like I forgot that I should have something else in here, or I need to build other context, I will stop that video and re-record the entire video, right? Like I want anything that I am doing to be perfect in the best way I can be, right? But yeah, I have an editor and a team and a thumbnail person, and my editor, when I kind of am going to sleep, or like 5 or 6 p.m., like I'm, starting to have dinner with my wife and getting offline for the day, my editor's waking up because he's on the other side of the world, and he starts to edit the content that I made today. So like in 2 hours or 3 hours from now, my editor will wake up and it will start editing the 3 videos I made today. And those videos will get scheduled for tomorrow. Sometimes I have to get stuff out the same day. And we have another editor, but I also have a different editor for my shorts. So, it's a big team that kind of helps support the channel. Doing this all myself, I'd be killing myself. Like I'm already like trying to keep up with all this stuff, and it's a lot to do. And so most people with channels my size will have editors that do that. Some people could have channels my size and do the editing and the thumbnails. Some people are just incredibly gifted. I am not gifted with editing. So I leave that to Cass, who's my editor. Yeah, Pluto. Yeah, see, like Charles, this is why you don't tell people how much crypto you have. Like, you got to be careful, man. People will target you, People will target you. Got to be very, very careful. This is why I keep a loaded gun next to my bed. Never know, I live in a very secure place, very secure building, a lot of cameras, a lot of security, but you never know. If somebody comes bashing through my door, at 2 or 3 a.m., you're going to get some hot lead coming at you, right? Just got to be careful. Always be careful about telling people what you have. Eric says, hey, Sensei, do you think that Ripple has a secret plan to flood the ledger with liquidity using multiple catalysts that is just not being talked about? Eric, I definitely think there's things that we don't know or things that we can't explain. There's NDAs, right? There's been over a decade of testing and sandboxing. There's got to be stuff that we don't know. What is it? Hard to say, my man. Really, really hard to say. But I did a video earlier today. Did you guys see the stuff with Belgrave? You know what I'm talking about? Did you guys see this? Here, I'll show you this. This video is going to be out tomorrow, but I will give you a taste of what's in it. Hold on. Oh, wait, this is not it. This is it right here. All right. So let me pull this up for you, brother. So this is something very interesting. Something exactly what you were just saying. This just came into my head. Okay. So I saw this on X earlier today, and I was like, God, this is some really freaking interesting information. Now, just to give you some full context here, we don't know who this person is. This person's following has grown by a few hundred followers just in the last few hours. but it says this person saying they're an ex-City of London banker, now based in New York, Bitcoin since 2016, XRP since 18 cents. Okay. And so this person is saying, I sat across Mahoney boardroom tables with men who ran the world's money. In 2016, 2017, I saw something most retail still refuses to believe. Top executives from Barclays, HSBC, DBS, and Wells Fargo are already positioning around XRP. I know I was in the room. And this person says they weren't speculative crypto bros. They were group treasurers, head of correspondent banking, FX settlement directors, people who handle trillions in inflows, the arteries of global finance. And they weren't debating if they'd use XRP. They're debating how soon they would use it. The first meetings I witnessed were wrapped in NDAs so tight that even the junior staff didn't know the agenda, but I did. Because I was tasked with preparing briefing papers for cross-border settlement discussions, XRP kept appearing in the decks under code names. Barclays' internal tech memos in 2016 talked about on-demand liquidity, nodes, and permission ledgers. HSBC's innovation team called it real-time cross-border netting. DBS framed it as instant regional clearing. Wells Fargo tokenized liquidity rails. Every single one was describing XRP. Why XRP? Because it's unlike Bitcoin or Ethereum. XRP was designed to move the sums. They move instantly, final, with no counterparty risk. And it was already integrated into the legacy rails. They own Swift, GPI, Nostro Vostro, and CLS. It wasn't about ideology. It was about efficiency and control. Retail thinks banks fight crypto. Banks fight each other. And in 2016, 2017, they quietly agreed that XRP would be shared as a neutral bridge, a way to avoid giving any single rival an advantage. What they kept public, a charade of public exploration. The real story, Barclays tested live corridors with RippleNet partners in Europe. HSBC sent settlement data to Ripple for stress testing. DBS built corridors in the Asia Pacific remittances for using XRP as a bridge asset. Wells Fargo looked at it as replacing its FX swap desk with tokenized liquidity using XRP, all before retail even looked at the chart. I left banking in 2020. I thought I was late. XRP was already at 18 cents when I bought it with my bonus, but looking back now, I was so early. Most people still have no idea what's coming. Here's what I'll tell you now. As someone who's seen the playbook, XRP is going much higher than your wildest imaginations. The bankers don't build infrastructure for $5 coins. They build it for the next global standard. That was some deep stuff, man. Woo! All right. I don't know if that guy's legit or not legit, but it sounded pretty good, man. It sounded really, really good. I just made a video about that. There's another post too, but I'm not going to give you both posts, right? Like, watch the video tomorrow. It's going to come out first thing in the morning. And man, I was really enjoying that stuff, man. All right, we talked about this. Sensei, can you do a video on ARB? Arbitron? Are we talking about Arbitron? No, my editor is from the Netherlands. Russia? What? He's from the Netherlands. His name's Cass. He's not from Russia. I don't think I'd feel comfortable having an editor from Russia with what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Sorry. Eric, we don't need to keep spamming the same thing, man. I did answer your question already. Clive Chang, will Ripple IPO in the near future? If yes, positive for price action. So, yes and no. An IPO would have nothing to do with XRP price. It would just be Ripple's shares, but the publicity and the FOMO around the IPO would definitely be beneficial for XRP. Brad Garlinghouse said the reason Ripple hasn't IPO'd yet is because they don't need the money. Okay. And he also said that, Ripple doesn't want to IPO in a down market. And that's why they didn't IPO in 2025, because there's a lot of things that were uncertain. Now, there's a lot of people that believe in 2026 they will IPO. I guess we'll have to see what markets look like in 2026. But I did you know, I'm starting to hear more and more people believe that Ripple will IPO in 2026. VeChain is Joe Rogan. Yes, Mason, I appreciate you, man. Well said. Yeah, man. Like, I'm not messing around, dude. Like, you know, I know very well that like people really wanted to figure out where I live. They probably could, but like, you know, it's gonna be a fight. You know, gonna be a fight. A good friend of mine has $6,000 worth of XRP stolen. Oh, at gunpoint in California. Well, yeah, that's why I don't keep XRP on my person. Yeah. I have a Zaman wallet that I trade like some meme coins and things like that, but I only fund it with XRP when I am buying something. Other than that, I don't keep my wallets in my house. I keep them offsite. All right, guys, let's do this. I could sit here for like hours and just keep talking to you, but it's Friday. I want to, you know, chill here. Wait, it's Friday? It's Tuesday. See, I don't even know what date is, man. That's what happens when I work through the freaking weekend. I don't even remember what day it is. Holy smokes. Okay, it's Tuesday. I was going to wish you all a very good weekend, but that is not yet. Fuck. All right, let's do this. I'm going to answer a few more questions. Sensei, right now, ETH is pumping closer to all-time highs. After it reaches it, do you think that will be a retracement? No, dude, I don't. I think Ethereum's going to 10K, bro. You have all of these ETH-related treasury companies now forming. You have all of this new inflow. I don't think ETH's coming. You know, it might like have a dip, but it's heading to 8 to 10,000. It's heading to 8 to 10,000. You know what's very interesting? This was like end of like 23. We were kind of like talking about where we thought like Ethereum was going to go and where Solana was going to go. I gave a price prediction in 23 that I thought Ethereum was going to go to 8,000. Looks like that price prediction is going to be under what it's probably going to go to. It's probably going to be even higher than that. I've even seen people like talking about Ethereum going to like $20,000, right? I think it's a very real possibility over the next few years here with all this money coming into the space. But, you know, I'd rather own XRP at this point. So, but thank you for the question, man. Yeah, exactly. I don't own any XRP. I dedicated my whole life to something to not own any of it. Thank you, Christopher. Appreciate you, brother. I wish it was Friday. Yeah, me too, dude. You know what it was? I have a massage scheduled this weekend, and like I tried to start taking better care of myself on the weekends, you know, like beach day, maybe get a massage and just chill, right? And I think my brain wanted it to be Friday because Saturday, you know, we're going, and it's freaking Tuesday, bro. Oh man. But you know what? Also, like Fridays, you got like Foundation comes out. You also have what is it? War of Chief. What is that new Jason Momoa series? That was really good. Like I have certain programs, right, that I like to watch. Like at the end of the day, I jump into bed, I slap on my Apple TV and like watch a program. Did anybody take my reference and see what's it called? Demon Hunters on Netflix? Because that I'm still watching that, dude. I'm still watching that. It's almost lunchtime. Where are you? Secret Source Club. Where are you at, man? Damn, SS got into ETH in 2020. Man, you're feeling really good about yourself. What'd you buy ETH at? Like $100 or something? Dude, Happy Gilmore 2 was funny, right? There's a lot of cameos, man. There was so many. Did you see like Eminem was in there too? That was hella funny. But what is it? K-pop Demon Hunters is still probably one of my favorite movies that I've seen recently. That was really good, dude. Like I was blown away how good that movie was. Melbourne, Australia. Well, Secret Source, Dan, thank you for being here from Melbourne, Australia. I heard Australia is incredibly beautiful. I started watching a new show on Disney called The In-Between or Mr. In-Between. It's about like a professional hitman. He's from Australia. That's a really interesting show. I haven't seen too many shows that are based in Australia, but man, I'm starting to really like that show, man. I missed your questions, Lizard. I'm sorry, man. What was your question, dude? I'm sorry. I'm looking for it. Here, just give it to me again. I'll look for it, Lizard. Watch Demon Hunter with my 12-year-old daughter. She watches it once a day. I know it. Like, did you like it though? I find myself like singing the songs like randomly. Like Golden is stuck in my head. Your Idol, that is stuck in my head. Dude, like I watched the ending. Like I watched the ending. My wife wants me to wait for her when I watch, like when I rewatch it. But like sometimes when, you know, she's still at work, I will turn it on and I will watch like the last like 20 minutes because that's like, you know, that's the best part. And oh man, that's such a good movie. Dangerous Animals was a good movie. I don't know if I've seen that one. Dangerous Animals. Who's in that? Dangerous Animals. Who is in Dangerous Animals? Oh, is this the one? It's the horror movie. Oh, yeah. Here, Dangerous Animals. Here you go. Oh, yeah, this guy is really good, huh? I've seen the preview for this, man. It looks crazy. Like, I really like Foundation. Like Foundation season 3, bro, has been so good. It's been so good. Like I was kind of sad about Foundation season 2. It was okay, but Foundation season 3 has been just a game changer, man. I love Foundation. I remember ETH was at 1,500. Yeah, man. 4,600. It's too late. I mean, you know, is it too late? If you're looking for something very reliable to do a 100% gain over the next few months, something that is like guaranteed, like nothing in life is guaranteed, but buying Ethereum right now at 4,600 and going to, you know, 9 or 10,000 is probably something you can kind of, you know, put a stamp on. But is there other opportunities, right? Like locking up $4,600 to buy one Ethereum to make 4,600. Like, is there other things, maybe like XRP or ADA? Like I am, you know, I'm spending a fresh $10,000 of investment tomorrow, and I'm putting that fresh $10,000 into ADA. So that's kind of tell you where my head is at personally. But I just invested $50,000 into some of those base projects that I showed you earlier today in this chat. Yeah, guys, like, listen, if you're interested, like, if you want to, like, be a part of what I'm currently investing in, you do not want to wait for these chats, like, you can join my Discord community. And, like, you know, it's totally up to you. It's $50 a month. You can make the decision to do it or not. You actually will have more direct access to ask me questions. I know some people take full advantage of that, which I don't mind, you know, because I talk to people, we talk about projects, we share information. And this is where I am posting like live research. I'm posting things I'm investing in, things I'm looking at, news I'm looking at. If you want it right then and now, this is the best source of information that I can offer you. Okay. $50 a month, join our Discord, up to you. I'll leave it at that. I will post this if you're interested. We have a really good team, and you know, people are making some good money, so I'm not going to complain. All right. Listener says, why am I the only one frustrated with Ethereum Foundation behavior and the Ripple litigation? No, like you're not, but like it's said and done now. Right. And, you know, ETHgate and all of the crazy shit and Joseph Lubin and, what the frick is his name? Who was on the SEC team that got paid $15 million from Samson Thatcher? His name is just eluding me right now. Foundation from Simpson Thatcher, who sued Ripple. What's his name? William Hinman. Bill Hinman. That was who it was. Bro, I feel you. I'm with you in the frustration, but you know, we could stay pissed about it for the rest of our lives. They're obviously not going to do anything about it. They're not going to investigate themselves. So, you know, we could stay pissed off for the rest of our lives, or we can harness that energy and focus on making new money right now. And that's what I want to do. It would be cool if they consider a film to touch on Ripple. I think there's something coming out on Netflix about it, isn't there? Sensei, you should read the Isaac Asimov Foundation series. You know what? That's probably something I could spend time on doing. The hard part is like, I don't have a lot of free time, like if I do have free time, I'm watching like one of my programs, for like an hour a day or something, or, maybe I get 2 hours. But I need to spend some more time taking a look at that. But let me snap this and see if I could do if I could take a look at it. But I heard it was pretty crazy, man. All right. I appreciate you, Christopher. Thank you, man. Anchor, I don't have any information on Anchor Auto Cars. I'm sorry, man. Okay, we're getting some spam now. Love that. Love the spam. Hey, Sensei, any news about the new Solana Seeker phone? You know what, Victor? I don't really follow it, man. I'm sorry. I'm not the Solana guy. I'm the XRP Ripple guy. I'm really not the Solana guy, but I know there's a lot of people interested, but I got nothing off the top of my head, man. I'm really sorry, Victor, but thank you for being here. Yeah, XRP. Watch XRP Unleashed. There you go. There you go, man. All right, dude. This is what we're gonna do, guys. I am gonna see each one of you on Friday. I got it right this time. Okay. I want to thank everybody that showed up to the chat, watching the chat afterwards. I want to thank Ariana and Curtis and LAX and William for keeping the chat safe, and everybody who's asked a question and spent some time here. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Really thank you. Have a cool bull market. Make some money. I will see each one of you on Friday. I'm really looking forward to it. All right. Any insights on Flare, Tom? Come on Friday. We'll talk more about Flare. Okay. I'll bring some more information news. All right. I appreciate all you guys. Aloha. All right. Bye.